Hello, dear colleagues. My name is Alexey Alexeyev. I'm an adjunct professor at the Department of Classics and Religious Studies, University of Ottawa. Welcome to my presentation. My presentation is guided by the principal question: what are the best practical ways of building a specialized iconography database and developing meaningful metadata for a corpus of images selected by a common subject? While information studies offer theoretical foundations and abstract schemes, practice-based resources development, such as that described in this presentation, provides practical outcomes and key solutions. The main purpose of my presentation is to introduce the Serpentarium Mundi initiative to the broad academic community. The paper will elaborate on the project's goals and objectives, describe the initial developmental steps, report on the progress and findings, reflect on encountered challenges and lessons learned, and inform on the next stages in the project's evolution. It will also provide a general overview of contemporary Serpent research and discuss the project's contribution to this study. Studies of religious imagination and symbolism indicate that some artistic subjects play an indispensable role in the formation, preservation, and proliferation of particular cultural traditions. The careful documentation and meticulous analysis of these important, regularly replicated subjects help to elucidate the complex processes of cultural reproduction. In classical antiquity, the serpent was one such prominent cultural phenomenon. It habitually emerges in various manifestations and in diverse contexts, from epic confrontations such as Apollo against Python, Heracles against Ladon, and Jason against the dragon of Colchis, to the patronage of benevolent serpent deities Agathodamon and Glycon. From the legends of miraculous birth from deities in serpent form, such as in the cases of Alexander the Great and Emperor Augustus, to the stories of miraculous rescue by snakes, such as in the cases of Emperor Nero and Iamos, the progenitor of the influential priestly dynasty from Olympia. From the composite monsters, such as Typhon, Gorgon Medusa, Chimera, and Cerberus, to the serpent-legged Calchiheo Kekrops, the founder of Athens. And from the sacred implements, such as the Aegis of Athena and Caduceus of Hermes, to the serpents-drawn chariots of Demeter and Triptolemos. The snake, serpent, is a ubiquitous and intrinsically polysemantic artistic subject. The notion of serpent is the product of the cultural reception of the snake as a peculiar biological species, followed by its creative modification. This transformation is usually accompanied by the complex processes of intra- and intercultural interpretation, appropriation, adaptation, preservation, and dissemination. Snakes and serpents play prominent roles in mythology, religion, and art, and are important subjects in cultural and comparative studies. Why did the serpent occupy such a prominent place in the creative imagination of the ancients? Scholars have speculated that this was determined by the nature of the cultural reception of the snake as an unusual biological species, especially of its peculiar phenomenological features, such as the perceived invisibility caused by the advanced camouflage and adaptive hunting strategies, omnividence caused by the absence of eyelids and constant non-blinking gaze, and immortality caused by the regenerative phenomenon of skin molting. All of these features are traditionally associated with the divinity, which allows the snake to occupy an exceptional, if not exclusive, place in the symbolic hierarchy of animals. A substantial body of literature is dedicated to the mythology and symbolism of the serpent in diverse cultural contexts, from the Greco-Roman world, Egypt and Mesopotamia, to India and China, and from the biblical tradition to early Islam. Most of the pertinent serpent literature has tended to focus on literary sources, while largely avoiding a comprehensive and systematic look at iconographic material, or merely using it as an auxiliary source. The investigations of this ancient Serpent iconography are usually highly specialized and focus on particular geographical region or cultural tradition, deity or symbol, or an important artifact. A literature survey reveals that no comprehensive or systematic comparative research on the ancient Pan-Eurasian Serpent iconography has yet been conducted, chiefly due to the practical difficulty of accessing the relevant imagery resources. The situation is slowly improving, but in my opinion, there remains an urgent need for a major step forward. The described project seeks to address this research deficit, rectify the existing literature against iconography imbalance, and provide a significant content contribution. The project's strategic goal is to become the ultimate Ophidian iconography resource. The project website serves as a limited functionality test prototype of the solid digital framework. Serpentarium Mundi is envisioned as a specialized digital iconography compendium dedicated to snakes, serpents, and their manifold derivatives, for example, dragons. It catalogs representations of real and imaginary ophiomorphs in the visual arts of Old World civilizations from 3000 BCE to 650 CE. The project is envisioned as a long-term collaborative, multi- and interdisciplinary enterprise. The compendium's compositional framework uses the structural metaphor of traditional media and consists of 6 volumes: sculptures and reliefs, adornments and tools, coins, vases, paintings and mosaics, and manuscripts. The volumes are organized according to artistic medium or function and represent the full range of arts, gradually advancing from the 3-dimensional to 2-dimensional. Each volume is divided into 6 specialized chapters, based on the type of iconographical subject and the context. Each chapter consists of various number of articles, each focused on a specific subject, for example, Agatha Daemon. Each article may contain a different number of figures. The website information architecture is fully expandable and allows the addition of unlimited number of articles and figures, thus facilitating the enduring collaborative research. A minimalist approach is currently adopted. The compendium articles focus on iconographical records, with the textual component limited to brief descriptions. The advanced version will include 3 common components: a complete catalog of the subject's iconographic types, observations on the subject's reception in antiquity and the survey of related primary sources, and the subject's interpretation in broader cultural and historical contexts, and the survey of the secondary literature. Among the challenges encountered, there are current lack of institutional support and funding, insufficient multi- and interdisciplinary collaboration, and the project's curators' limited technical expertise. Among the lessons learned, I will mention the need to anticipate the unforeseen complexities of the evolving image classification taxonomies, develop incrementally, and diligently credit the image source providers. The theoretical framework of the project is informed by the pertinent discussions on iconography and iconology, visual semiotics, knowledge organization, and metadata and semantic web. The project is inspired by the pioneering works on the ontology-based iconography conducted at the Warburg Institute in London and the Institute of Mathematics and Informatics in Sofia. In this particular context, ontology is understood as a knowledge organizing process. It provides a conceptual model for describing a system within a certain domain of discourse, consisting of types of entities, properties, and relations. The primary purpose of ontology is to limit complexity and help to convert data into information and knowledge. The use of ontologies in knowledge-based systems facilitates effective communication between various groups and domains, and thus provides the foundation for knowledge dissemination and interdisciplinary collaboration. In this project, classification is a crucial component of the knowledge organizing process. To facilitate the development of classification taxonomies, a novel analytical device, the 3-faceted formal semantic indicator, identifier, descriptor, and operator, was developed. It represents the main ontological categories: beings, properties, and relations. Currently, there are 6 identifiers, 7 descriptors, and 5 operators. The device is intended to contribute to future ontology-based iconography research as an instrument facilitating the classification, contextualization, and interpretation of images. It could also be potentially incorporated as a functional component into computational procedures involving the machine-readable ontologies. I also propose a novel reformulation of the classical Panofskian scheme of gradual, meaning-revealing method of image interpretation, and introduce the modified methodological scheme: iconography, analytic or proto-iconic stage, iconology, synthetic or proper iconic stage, and iconosophy, hermeneutic or meta-iconic stage. I initiated my systematic study of ancient Serpent iconography with the investigation of a particular corpus, Greco-Roman coins. I am focusing on this collection for 3 main reasons. The first is practical. Greco-Roman civilization has an almost exclusive monopoly on ancient Serpent numismatic iconography. The available material is vast and diverse, and is the most accessible for study. The second reason is contextual. Coins are not only the tangible medium of monetary exchange, but also serve an important communication function as portable mass media devices. In antiquity, the issuing authorities often used coins as mobile instruments for broadcasting important cultural, religious, and political messages. The third reason is methodological. Numismatic artifacts are treated as compact semantic units, representing a distinct semiotic system. My research is informed by general works on Greco-Roman numismatics, the prominent museum collections catalogs, investigations into the cultural role coins played in classical antiquity, numismatic iconography research and classification reviews, and specialized research on ancient animal coin types. In my digital endeavor, I will also build upon the groundbreaking work by the researchers at the Department of Classical Studies, University of Messina, and their flagship online projects, Digital Iconographic Atlas of Numismatics in Antiquity, Diana, and Numismatic Iconography Lexicon. Serpentarium Mundi draws extensively upon the successes and failures of major online iconography projects, such as IconClass, Digital Link, and the Warburg Institute Iconographic Database. The preliminary survey of literature and online resources indicated that the serpent is one of the most prominent subjects on Greco-Roman coinage, with its manifold instances occurring at all stages in the evolution of the numismatic corpus. However, no specialized comprehensive research on serpent numismatic iconography in antiquity has yet been conducted. The most notable effort so far is the review article published in Spanish by Vasquez Ois. The great examples of ethnographic numismatic propaganda, especially deployed during the transformative periods, such as the change of political regime or religious conversion, include such massively minted coin types as the elephant and serpent of Julius Caesar, the serpent and labarum of Constantine the Great, the serpent-tailed lion of Honorius, and the anthropocephalic serpent of Valentinian III and his successors. My research has 3 main purposes: exploratory, descriptive, and explanatory, and progresses through 3 stages, each guided by key research questions, such as how prevalent were serpent images on Greco-Roman coinage at different stages of its evolution? How did serpent numismatic iconography facilitate the proliferation of the Greco-Roman cultural tradition? How did the thematic and symbolic transformation of serpent iconography reflect the transition from pagan beliefs to Christianity? And what is the level of concordance between the classical literature and numismatic art in regard to the serpent? The objectives of Stage 1, Exploratory, were to document serpent iconography on Greco-Roman coins and outline the scope of its representation. I surveyed online numismatic depositories, downloaded images of about 50,000 specimens, created a structured, standardized, and properly labeled data inventory, and outlined a preliminary classification scheme. The data were drawn mainly from the chief online numismatic databases, such as the core numismatic collections, for example, American Numismatic Society, specialized numismatic portals, for example, Roman Provincial Coinage Online, and principal numismatic auction consolidators, AC Search and Coin Archives. The survey of numismatic databases, inventorization, and preliminary classification demonstrated the significant popularity of Serpent iconography on Greco-Roman coinage. The number of iconographic subjects associated with the Serpent in the 6 main categories totaled 198. The number of iconographic types and subtypes was estimated at around 1,200. The objectives of Stage 2, Descriptive, are to establish the complete scope of Serpent iconography representation on Greco-Roman coins and detail its repertoire. I plan to finalize a comprehensive Serpent numismatic iconography ontology and map out the complete classification taxonomies of iconographic types. The classification procedure will be informed by existing art history guidelines, such as the Art and Architecture Thesaurus and categories for the descriptions of works of art developed at the Getty Research Institute. The experimental application of formal semantic indicators for the description and classification of numismatic iconographic types is illustrated on the example of one divine lineage, focusing on 3 successive generations of principal Greek deities, all of them interacting with or accompanied by serpents, starting with Apollo, god of light, divination, music, and archery, Asclepius, god of medicine, son of Apollo, Hygeia, goddess of health, daughter of Asclepius, and Telesphorus, god of recovery from illness and son of Asclepius. The objectives of Stage 3, Explanatory, will be to demonstrate how historically and culturally determined trends in the evolution of Serpent iconography were manifested in the production of particular coin types, elucidate how the classical literary tradition informed the Serpent iconographic repertoire, and establish the level of concordance between the iconographic and textual sources. I plan to code the images of established iconographic types using the qualitative data analysis software in vivo, and to conduct content analysis of coded imagery and textual data by running carefully formulated queries aimed at identifying and tracing recurrent patterns, correlations, trends, and themes related to the evolution of Serpent iconography in the Greco-Roman numismatic corpus. The coding system will be designed to categorize references to serpents in various thematic contexts, such as zoological, mythological, narrative, historical, and geographical. Making steady progress in Stages 2 and 3 will depend heavily on securing consistent patronage from academic institutions and foundations through grants and donations. The project findings will inform future Serpent iconography research and promote a better understanding of the richness and complexities of Serpent mythology and symbolism. The project will engage researchers studying religious iconography, visual communications, ethnozoology, and digital humanities, as well as scholars involved in cultural and comparative studies. It will employ expertise in the fields of classics, religious studies, comparative mythology, art history, visual semiotics, and computer science. Foster multi- and interdisciplinary research and lay the foundations for a broad interinstitutional and international scholarly collaboration. Benefit scholars working on the application of innovative semiotic, hermeneutic, and knowledge organization theories and methods for classifying, contextualizing, and interpreting material sources, especially in the realm of religious art, and provide stimulus to artist researchers looking for inspiration in their creative endeavors. The presentation intends to initiate discussion, solicit feedback, obtain expert advice from specialists in various fields, and ideally, find and engage potential collaborators and institutional sponsors. Your questions and comments will be much appreciated. Thank you.